What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards. Today, we're going to talk about pandemic prices and why you should just ignore them because they were just a mirage. So let's jump right into it. You and I have heard this probably so many times that we can't count. You'll hear, and even now, people say, it's down 70% from its peak. It's down 75% from its highs during the pandemic. And it might be 70, it might be 75, whatever that number is, 60%, 50%, 80%, whatever. And I'm here to tell you, never use this thinking. Never use this logic. Because, okay, something is down 70% from its pandemic highs, right? There's no rule that says that it can't go down to 80, that I can't go down to 85, that I can't go down to 90, right? There's no rule. There's no like bottom that says like, oh yes, once you hit 70%, then that's the end of how much it can decrease because it is written in stone tablets sent down from up above. No, that's not the case. So I'm going to go through two very famous cards in the hobby and see where this line of thinking would have gotten you. First one, 2003 Topps Chrome, LeBron James, PSA 10. 2019, right before the big spike, it was at $2,300. It peaked at, and I can't believe this is actually true, but it peaked at over $40,000. It looks like it's around 45 here. But a few sales at least above 30, 35. It seems like it's it's that's wild, but that's right around 2021, beginning of 2021, right? This is September of 2020. This is September 2021. Now, if you had gone by the logic of it's down 70, 75% from its highs, so if the high is right here about 45K, then right here, 12.4K, like this line right here, it's about 3/4, right? 75%. This is 1 bar, this is 4 bars high, right? So you'd be like, oh, it's down 75% from its peak. Oh yeah, great boundary. And then there's like even a little bounce to make you think that you're onto something, right? Up from 12 and a half, all the way up to close to 20, it seems like here. And then it's kind of meandering its way through it. It's like, oh, it's down 75% from its peak. I've been told that it can't go down more than that, or whatever that statement implies. I'm not sure why that's relevant, but people say it. People still say it. Well, if you had thought that and bought this at around 12K, well, you'd be in a bit of trouble because now it's well below that. It's around 5. You'd have lost an additional 50% off of that 75% low. And right now, I think it's right around 5K. I haven't checked the exact numbers, and depending on when you watch this video, it might change. But from 45 to 5, which is a 90+% drop, because again, there is no rule that says that something can't drop more than 70% or 60% or 80% or 50% or whatever number you want to choose. And this is all to say, what is a more relevant data point? Is it, all of the pandemic shenanigans with nothing else for people to spend their money on because they're all locked in their homes and there's no place to travel? There's no place to go out to eat. There's no place to do any type of thing with your friends. Specific segments of the population, again, not everybody had a bunch of excess money to spend on things. And so what do you think is more relevant? Before all of this craziness happened, i.e. right around December 2019, or this data point right here? I'd say this data point right here is way more important than this data point right here. So that's why, to me, I care about where this number was, not where this number was. And so rather than saying it's down, 90% from its pandemic highs, doesn't mean it can't go down to 95% from pandemic highs. What you want to do is say, pre-pandemic, it was at this number, and right now it's actually roughly double from its pre-pandemic surge, right? That's how I would look at it. So that's one card that's very famous in the hobby for basketball. Next one, Luka Silver, PSA 10. You can see here, right before the pandemic, it was, $300-400, spikes close to 10K. I'm going to call this, just eyeballing. Let's just call it 9,500, 9K. It doesn't really matter. And again, if you had said, hey, it's down 70%, you'd be saying that's down to about 3K, right? So that's right around, say right around here. So at 3K, you're like, oh, it's down 70%. Gotta buy now. It's down 70% from its pandemic highs. Well, that'd be about 3K, and right now it's right around, I think, a little over $1,000. So you'd be down another 70%, ironically enough, from 3K to 1K. You'd be down another 2/3 in value, roughly, or maybe 60%, whatever that number is. And again, if you go back to the logic you should be thinking of, what was the pricing before COVID? It was right around here, which is like $400 or $500, seems like, and then this crazy march upwards. That's the relevant data point. And if it's like $400, $500 here, and it's now 1,200-ish, it's actually doubled from where it was before the pandemic. And again, what do you think is a more relevant data point? Where it was before all of this craziness happened, or the peak of the craziness? To me, it's very obvious that this is the data point that matters, not this. And so this is just a short video explaining why never, ever, ever think again. This card is down whatever percent from its pandemic highs. Doesn't matter. Delete it from your head. I would love to sell my Joel Embiid PSA 10 Prism cards for $800, which is what I know the peak was. I think it was actually above 800, 825. But I can't, because it's never going there, and it's never coming back. So it's been deleted from my mind, and that's it. This is the entire point of the video. Don't get caught up in this weird comparison to what it once was, because it doesn't matter. It's, it's 2.5 years in the past at this point. Let it go. Let it go, and you'll be better for it. You'll make better choices with your cards. And that's it. That's the video. It's a short little video here, just telling you, just do not use this line of thinking. If you hear someone say it, chuckle to yourself quietly and just walk away, because chances are you're probably not going to be able to close a deal with someone who's thinking of those along those lines. As we always do on the channel, we preview the next one. Next time, we're going to talk about NBA awards and which ones are actually correlated to long-term hobby value, as the NBA season is right around the corner. As always, would love to hear your comments, and thank you as always for listening and watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.